And hello and welcome to another Catharsis Healing Talk. The gang is all chipper and gathered again. Hi, ladies. Hi, Laura. Hi, Laura. And of course, Kay. Hi, Kay.
Hi.
And today, before we get started, happy birthday, Laura.
Mhm.
Kitty.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects. We weave into the web of life of the planet according to what we carry. And I think that's one of the big secrets of the ancient teachings that is so not understood in our culture, and what it can do, how it can change lives and the world. And we're going to have Kay start out on that and go from there. All right. Thanks again for joining us and have fun.
Okay. What we carry as as the modern culture, the majority of the people on the planet, what are we carrying? In order to make the cloud that I talked about before, this bubble, this ugly, huge, utterly sky high, beyond the sky, deep into the earth, swallowing the entire planet bubble of yuck. Yucky, yucky, yucky energy and thoughts. It's all thought forms. And they're made by the people, the human race. They're made by us. And they've been being made for centuries and centuries and centuries. It is a natural thing for humans to make thought forms as we think and feel and live. But what is the quality of those thought forms? What do the thought forms contain? They're a huge amount of energy and information, energy that holds information. And that's what we're carrying. And we're constantly creating more and more and more of it. What does it look like? What's inside those thoughts that people are just generally, habitually thinking? The thoughts they're addicted to, quite literally. I mean that word very literally, addicted to them. And people are addicted to this really, really giant, yucky thought form. If you could see it, if you could psychically see it, it would look like bubbling, gray, black, horrible, ugly colors and flashes of energies and smell that would knock you dead. You could just really smell it. What makes something like that? I saw that. The spirits took me on a little adventure. I went on a vision quest out in the middle of the desert in Oregon. I mean, way out in the middle of the desert. Nothing's out there. And I was on the top of this little bit of a mountain peak, and there was this little shelf, and it's big enough to have a vision quest. I could lay down there and not fall off the cliff. And so I went up there to have a vision quest and talk to the spirits and find out whatever they wanted to tell me about or warn me about or teach me about or uh, anything and everything. And I had a lot of questions. And at this one time going there, uh, they scared me. Of course, they did that on purpose because I had too much fear. I had way, 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 way too much fear all the time. That's a big component of that nasty bubble thought form. Fear, anger, all the negative emotions you could think of. It's all in there. And I got so scared I was leaving my body. I was just just floating out and was like, I can't do this anymore. I just can't live being this afraid. I'm gonna leave. I'm just gonna go die. And they said, nah, it's not your time to die. You can't go. I'm asking them, what is this mess that I'm looking at? It looks like the world's worst weather I've ever seen. It's just horrible and ugly and thick, really, really thick. And where's the tunnel? I want the light. Give me the tunnel. Uh, There's there's no tunnel for you today. This what you're looking at, what you're swimming in, I was literally swimming in it. That's all I could see. I couldn't even see them. I could just kind of feel their voices. And they said, that's what you make. That's your cloud. That's what you're making right now. All your fear, the victimization, the hatred, the suspicions and anger. A lot of repressed anger but they went on listing all these negative emotions. That's coming out of you. You're making that cloud. You can't get out of it because you're making it and you're replenishing it. Like with every breath, you're replenishing it. And as they're saying that, I'm kind of relating it back to what some of the Hedekas, my teachers, said about what we carry. This is things we carry and how much that is, how big that is, how it contributes to the whole world. And I had that thought, okay, I'm in this little space and I can see this yuck here. How big is it? How far? how big is this cloud? And my personal cloud was pretty darn big, and it joined all the rest of the clouds of all the other humans on the earth that were just going through all this nightmare. And they're making this stuff, they're carrying it. They have it in their body, they have it like weights on their shoulders. They're dragging it along and making it and taking it in and spewing it out. That's what they're carrying. And the truth of it, it really, really, really hit me like a ton of bricks. Just the shock of the truth of that. I had heard them say different kinds of phrases about what we carry, what we make, what we're living with, what we're addicted to. And they kept saying addicted to, and you're addicted to this crap. And it's unbelievably crappy way of living because you can't see through it. You can't feel through it. You don't feel your happiness. You don't feel much of anything. You don't feel passion for living. You don't feel the unconditional love. You don't feel or see the beauty. You can't. You can't see through it. You can't perceive in any way, shape, or form through the cloud. And when I realized that, oh my God, I'm making this. I am literally responsible, 100% responsible for this amount of mess around me that's oozing with the rest of the mess. I was so blown away at how much energy that takes to make that and constantly keep making it. And this giant bubble is like a beast. It has its own kind of consciousness. Not like ours, but it has its own kind of consciousness, and we're feeding the beast. There's an old Indian story about this young boy. He's out with Grandpa, and Grandpa's supposed to be teaching him the ways of being a man and a member of the tribe and all his responsibilities and all that stuff. And the boy says, "Grandpa, how can I be a good person? What do I have to do? What makes a good person? What is it that I can do? Because I really want to do that. I want to be a good person." And the grandpa says, "Well, we have two wolves that are around us all the time, wanting our attention, trying to get our attention. And one wolf is the good wolf. He's beautiful, he's kind, he's generous. He helps everybody. He helps you, he helps everybody else. He has very pleasant, loving thoughts. And when he sees, other people or things, and he finds it beautiful and makes him happy, and he wants to greet everything and help everybody and share with everybody. And that's the good wolf. The other wolf is the bad wolf. And that's the one that is suspicious and hates and is really angry and is super fearful and wants you to do bad things, nasty things, not be kind to people, and to hurt yourself, hurt others. That's the bad wolf. And the kid says, "Oh my God, what do I do? How do I stop the bad guy? And what's the trick? What's the truth?" And Grandpa says, "It's all a matter of who you feed. Which wolf are you going to feed? Which wolf are you going to pay attention to? Which wolf are you going to live with? Which one are you feeding?" And that describes this giant monster beast thought form that we created and we're carrying around. And we just keep contributing to it because that's what we are carrying. We're addicted to it. And we have to learn how to not be addicted to it, how to step out of it. Just step out of it, because as soon as you step out of it, there's the real world. And there's love, and there's beauty, and there's all the happiness, and there's the happy people, and a happy family, and a happy self for you. All you have to do is step out of it. Not carry it anymore, not be it anymore. Give up the addiction. A lot of modern people don't think they're addicted to anything. Ha 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 ha. That's that's silly because they are so addicted to everything that this nasty bubble has to offer. All the modern conveniences and the medias and the TV and the commercials and the consumerism and the corruption. They don't like to think of themselves as corrupt, but they really are. They have been corrupted on many levels. And then when I first really understood that and saw that that night, I could really see just how addicted I was to all that stuff, that modern way of life and living, and what was involved with it. Everything's involved with that cloud, with that bubble, the government, the institutions, our money, our food, our growing of our food, of all our garbage that we don't know what to do with. It still haunts us. And it just hit home like a ton of bricks. That's our people need to really take a good honest look at that ton of bricks and that nasty thought form that they're responsible for. So what do you beautiful ladies have to think about that? And gentlemen?
Before we continue, just a reminder, we're talking about a quote from Kay's new masterpiece called The Weavings, Dawn of a New World, which is coming out soon. And the quote is, "We weave into the web of life of the planet according to what we carry." All right, Loris.
Okay, that was
Thank-
beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
Somebody else seemed to want to step up to the mic too. No, that was beautiful. I got talk about getting caught up in the thought form of it. And it's that tangibleness. You don't see you're in it again until you're out of it. And step out of it and then step out of it again and again. Each of those thought bubbles, the gray. And I think that's one of the biggest things of the practice of katasi is constantly choosing which wolf you're going to feed. It's just like we practiced ourselves into that habit of feeding fear and creating that bubble. And it's learning to practice ourselves out of it every single day. But the gifts of practicing yourself out of it and starting to focus on seeing the beauty, living, and focusing on that, like attracts like, that magnetism of feeding that wolf, focusing on the beauty, it just draws more beauty. I mean, right before we went on live, I kept talking about, this move my husband and I made to this new location. It's just, I wouldn't say just when I don't think it can get better, because I don't believe in a glass ceiling on happiness. but better before I'm finishing, celebrating the last beautiful thing that came our way, another one shows up and another one shows up. And so there's such a benefit. I mean, there's not just this global benefit of focusing on the positive, there's immediate return. a beautiful investment in yourself by stepping out of that bubble. You start manifesting this life of beauty. The second things start going back to gray, you realize maybe you've stepped back in, caught back up with the others. That happens still for me. Slip back into that bubble, and it's, and those old habits. But then after a while, the new habits, just stick a little bit more. As you say, you just don't feel comfortable in that gray cloud anymore. But then the best part is not just getting out of the cloud. It's all the beauty, all the benefits that come with stepping out of it. There's just so much. Laura, what about you?
Well, the first class that Kay teaches is the Call Your Song, and that's where you get to learn about who and what you really are. And then you get to learn about, all your masks. And those are your thought forms, your blind beliefs, and the things that you carry around with you and you perpetuate and fuel your experience. And I love her. She just loves these talks. Keeper keeps letting her out of the bathroom. I'm like, okay, you can stay in here while I'm talking, but nope. But I called it before. It's kind of, for me, it feels like, we have these beliefs that we continually feed in those thought forms that are around us. And when we can figure out, I keep thinking this, and oftentimes it's like, it's a belief about a certain thing, or you're just really identifying with the story that's going on in your life. And if you can start to be aware of those, then you get to choose. You can choose. Do I really believe that? Is this how I want to feel? And most of the time we go through our lives not even being aware of that. It's certainly not something that we're taught. Everybody else makes me mad or unhappy, or, that if this had just changed, I'd have a completely different experience. But no, it's where you're putting your consciousness and your awareness. It's where you're putting your beliefs. And that's what the Call Your Song helps do, because then you can be aware of those clouds that come into your awareness. And you go, and question them. Always those questions. And then you get to choose, because otherwise, if you're totally unaware that you're just making all this unhappiness and this cloud of dust, I always think of Pigpen. I got this cloud of dust around me. I'm like, no wonder I can't feel what's really there, because I keep perpetuating these thought forms that keep just filling the environment. Before Katasi, I could go into a bank and I'd feel totally nauseous because there's just so many thought forms inside of a bank. Or sometimes, like Laura too, like at a grocery store, right there at the checkout stand, there's just so much energy there because people are constantly having that energy that's just building up. But, one of the wonderful things about Katasi and the teaching is you have a choice, and it gives you the tools, and you take responsibility for what you're creating. And that's what weaving's all about. You have all these choices to make. Well, how are you going to add to the planet? How are you going to add to humanity? And it's just cleaning up your little neck of the woods, world. It affects everybody else, all humanity. Yeah, just clean up your little place of the world. and then you can learn to weave and clean up the whole world.
Well, it is. We take on these other things like recycling, these other environmental practices, it's a social thing to do your part. you know, and people are constantly looking for opportunities to do their part to make this planet better. But what if it's, you know, your part, the most significant thing you can actually do is give up fear, give up anger, give up blind beliefs, and start questioning things.
Mhm.
You know, the one blind belief, what goes up must come down, is a significant blind belief to get rid of. That really breaks goodness coming in if you believe those things. I mean, there's so many that I went through, like little quotes I would say, and I'm like, wait, I don't know that. That's not necessarily true. You know, and you stop trying to you just stop yourself when you know, you try to catch yourself and give those habitual blind beliefs up. You know, it's like, if you want to really do your part in fixing this planet, you know, you always start with you. Give up your fear, give up your anger, give up the babble. We're all working on it, and it's a practice. Trust me, that babble. Oh, but it's, you know, it's, you start with shifting your focus, you know, and that's this practice. It's a practice, and it's a, you know, it's, thank goodness, you know, Damano and Chia found Kay. It brought these ancient practices to us back again. I mean, they're profound and simple, but they're tools. And as soon as, you know, the beauty, once you start using these tools and keep repeating these tools, it allows you to feed the wolf that you want. And that feeding brings this life of abundance, you know, and, you know, you're not feeding the big thought form Kate talked about. You know, you're not feeding this thought form that's damaging the entire planet too, you know, or damaging you know, your family and your home. You know, and once you start unplugging, it makes it easier for them to unplug too, for them to step out. You're not all tripping over the same pig pen dust cloud. You know, it's just, yeah. My husband and I always say, be the light. You know, if you want your kids, our kids are adults and they have kids, if we want them to be healthy, we got to be healthy. If we want them to be happy and have less anxiety and, you know, and less depression, we have to be that. We have to be that way of being, you know, and we kind of have to do that for the whole planet too.
I love that Kay really teaches all you have is your time and your attention. And what do you value? That's a really good starting point to explore. Can change your life. Just that part right there. Where are you putting all your attention and your awareness?
You're a pretty good teacher, Kay.
Well, thank you.
If you can get through the two of us. Helmut, do you have thoughts?
Some, yeah. This is all great stuff, and it really is a big part of the things that are at the heart of waking up. And there's some aspects to it that can motivate you to embark, to engage these kind of teachings on that level. You have to develop the desire. And you also have to stop blaming anybody else, the outside world. Because in the end, it all leads back to you. That doesn't mean that it's your fault. It's kind of to no fault of your own, you have been programmed to be this way. And as soon as you realize something is really off here in my life, in the world, and the world especially today, if you look at it, it's royally screwed up. But best way to influence it is changing ourselves. That's where it all starts. And you have to develop the desire for it. And as you find that and build that, I really want to know. I really want to change this. I really want to get out of this mess. Then you have to make the commitment. Like, are you going to play spiritual on the spiritual surface level of things and feel a little better? And yet, when the masks want to come in again, they kind of grab a hold of everything, your emotion, your attention, and you're right back in the middle of the addiction. And you can't do anything about it because you haven't really done the work and you haven't really done the studying and the learning. So commitment to really go for it and not just play in the sandbox. And then things going to start to change. I was reminded this morning, and I shared it with Kay, that she talks about, like, in the third chapter about the reluctant shaman, she talks about this very thing where Domano describes song to her and what it is, and it's your passion, being alive, your truth, your aliveness. And then he talks about that fear drowns out this passion. And the passion removes the ground for fear. So ultimately, it goes back to knowing yourself truly, really, not the sweet, nice spiritual self, but know yourself. Know how amazing you are, how beautiful you are, how powerful you are to shift out of that muck that you have been living in. And it's all right there. It's not like you don't have to travel the world. It's like pick up Kay's book, the first one. That gets you started to go on a real yeah. The Reluctant Shaman, a woman's first encounter with the unseen spirits of the earth. Still the classic in the genre. And it talks about all of this.
And read it and read it again.
And again. And what a journey. If you want your life to change and the world to change and build a better world, that's where it starts. If you want to dive into the deep end, get in touch with us and join our community and our crazy people and work and everything. So, and thank you, Kay. Really beautiful. And ladies, beautiful. Thank you. So those are my 2 cents.
Well, that was pretty darn beautiful too.
It's just so exciting when you finally at a place where you know what this shit all means, that you really have control of your attention. You can take your power back and you can let go of all your programming in your mind and the emotional, like the charge of the emotion to being addicted to the bullshit. Then the life really starts in earnest. And what a life.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's exactly kind of at the point I've been feeling lately, like things are just getting started. Like even though I've been doing Katasi for 10 years and living for over 50 years, it's like I feel like there's a lot of life that's just getting started. It's like getting out of that bubble. It's like you're seeing life with a whole new eyes. Seeing, there's a bazillion adventures and so much stuff to learn that was right in front of you the whole time.
And the
I'm
big,
not gonna, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Laura.
I was going to say, I'm not going to pretend that I got this all down, because it's a constant choosing, to use the tools and the teachings of Kadasi. And, some days I'm like, I'm totally steeped in the drama, the illusion. And I'm like, but now I can step back and go, wow, that was kind of interesting and kind of fun. And can I choose something different? Because, and then oftentimes I can just I could be totally steeped in the unhappiness. And I'm like, okay, well, how come I'm choosing that right now? And it's so easy because, we're taught growing up to be a victim. But with the tools and you can choose something different. And so I'm not spending all my time in that pigpen dust bowl. I'm not perfect. I just keep doing it. And I keep valuing the teachings, and it keeps changing my life. And then every once in a while I'll get this huge wave of just unconditional love. It's like, oh, the cloud parted for a minute. And it really does help to have community, other people that can call you on your shit. Wait, how come you're swimming there? I always put it as like we can swim in this little wading pool, or we can swim in this ocean. I mean, we are choosing where we're putting our consciousness. And, there's enough in this community. I can call any of them up and they'll go, okay, well, you're swimming in a little teeny pool right now. Could you choose something different? Or how it's okay to choose that. How come you're choosing it? It's like, I want to say, the teachings are wonderful, but you have to live them, and living them is knowing them and then applying them and using community when you need it, asking for help, and just keep going. And then your life changes, and it doesn't have a choice, because you just start to have more gratitude in your life and appreciation and love, and it just keeps going. So yeah, you might have your days where it's like, oh, I'm drowning over here. And then you just call somebody up and they throw you a Katasi teaching rope, and you pull yourself out, brush yourself off, and get going again. Yeah.
It's like any gym. It's a muscle you've got to develop.
Yeah.
And you have to do it to develop it.
You do.
Now, I've been around plenty of people that have the play spiritual. And and we're just a different spiritual mass. But when you really go into the heart of these practices, is like, do you still have fears? Or, are you still being triggered by anger? It's just like, are you questioning everything? Have you just accepted a new practice and all of their beliefs that come with it? There's some real core, as we call the no-nos, that if you check in, you'll know whether or not you're playing spiritual, or you're really trying to step out of the cloud, eliminate the cloud, your cloud, and and help clean up the cloud that everybody's living in.
That's what the weavings are. Cleaning up the cloud that everybody lives in, and everybody is created together. They don't like to think of themselves as together or doing something together, but they are, even though they think of themselves as deadly enemies at this moment. but creating all this hostility and the hatred and the violence and war. They're doing that together. The whole human race, it contributes to it.
And we have a human race that is, I mean, even our government, when you look at it, it's set up to create division. You're this or that. Period. If you're not this party, you're that party.
Everything is centralized. It isn't just politics and the governments. Everything is centralized in this cloud. And when it gets centralized like that, it's like the food pyramid, you know? Everybody talks about same kind of concept. There's somebody at the top wielding everything, controlling everything. And with this hierarchy, this beliefs in hierarchy, there's only one good, proper way to be, and that's to go up the ladder of the hierarchy that leads up a ladder that it goes up that pyramid, better than and less than. And it's all part of that nasty bubble game. Nasty, so corrupt. And there's so many people who are still believing in all those things, the hierarchy and the ladder and the properness that the people at the top are somehow supposed to be there. And whatever it is they say goes, and that's how we're supposed to be. And they've contrived this. They've designed it and fed it to us, programmed us, and we feed it. That's the beast. But stepping outside the beast, we're building a new world. The beast is the upside down, backwards turning wheel energy culture. And it's falling apart. It's dying. It's absolute last breath. It's crumbling apart. And to build a new world, the ancients said, don't pick up the old pieces of the old world and try to shove them back together and make something. We've been doing that for centuries. It doesn't work. Obviously, we're still in the same place. We're only worse off. So just leave it be. Walk out of that bubble, walk out of that way of life and thinking and being and believing, and build a new world. Like the ladies say, question everything. And build things starting for yourself and your own family, your immediate friends or neighbors. Start building a new world. What do you want to see in your new world? What do you want that new world to be like? What do you want the people to be like? We have very, very few models of what that could look like. Even in the ancient writings, you could still see the beast. Sometimes a new world ideas kind of poke through. We have to think them up, feel them from the depths inside ourselves and our heart. Create a new world. One that is based on love. And the Egyptian way of thinking, one of their main creation myths, before everything was created any kind of matter or any worlds or anything. There was this consciousness in the void, in the vacuum of space, the blackness. There was this consciousness that wanted to birth a world, wanted to experience things in a new way. And that consciousness is called Oset Kempt, sorry. And that means, in Greek, it means black Isis. Black Isis. Black for the void. Not because it's ooky creepy or anything like that. That's just bullshit ideas from the beast. But Oset Kempt had her first birth and filled the universe. And the first birth was love. She filled the universe with unconditional love, jam-packed. And the next to be born was Neith, the weaver. She took the love and weaved all of the worlds and the realms and the dimensions and everything physical in our universe. She weaved it out of love. That means us, everything around us, the rocks and the trees and the air and the darkness and all the stars, all the people, all the animals, everything is built from love. And it's that way to this day. That has not changed as a component of existence in 3D time space. It's pure love, unconditional love. And like I've mentioned before, most people don't really understand what unconditional love is because all they've ever learned in their lives was conditional love. I will love you if you obey my rules. You have to be a good person. You have to be a good little kid now and do what I say. Follow the rules that I give you, and then I'll love you. And sometimes it isn't that obvious, but the whole world of the beast runs on conditional love. And conditional love includes anger and hatred and fear and victimization and brutality, violence, wars, and all the ugliness, everything ugly you could dream of. And they still call it love. They still have a way of twisting all the words and the ideas and the beliefs and call that all love. Isn't all this lovely? No, it's not real love. It's not the original love. It's not unconditional love. Unconditional love is in the feeling part of life. It's the aliveness. It's the consciousness. Ancient teachings say everything is alive, everything is conscious, everything feels, it thinks, everything. And all of that is made out of love, and it exudes it. It just radiates it. It's all love. It wants to be love, wants others to love it, everything. It wants beauty and sees beauty in everything. Everything is so connected. So, so, so fully, intimately connected. And when you're in that cloud, you can't perceive any of this. You can't perceive the love. You can't perceive the connectedness. You think you're isolated. No wonder everybody is so sick. Their thinking is very sick, upside down and backwards. So we got to step out. This world's falling apart, and we need to leave it now. Right now. Right now. Don't wait. Don't wait. Get out of the cloud. Build your new world, your whole new world. Build the world, the new world you want to see. And be the new world you want to see. And you want to feel. And you want others to be. You have to be it yourself first. It starts with the individuals. That's what the ancients said. It has to start with each individual first. It's not going to come from the top down. It's going to come from the ground up, from the people. And this is the power of humanity. This love, this unconditional love, and everything that it sprouts into existence. The beauty of it, the aliveness, the consciousness of it. This is our power. This is what real power is. And we can perceive this, we can be part of it by aiming our attention. Aiming our attention into it, into the love. If you want to learn about this, if you want to practice this, let a tree help you. Or if you don't have any trees around you, find some kind of plant or even a rock. They're very conscious. Sometimes people have a harder time at first talking to rocks. Trees are sometimes easier. Go find yourself a tree and be with it, talk with it, feel it. This is a feeling experience. The beast turns off the feelings. Now you got to turn them back on. We're not born with the beast. We're born conscious and free and knowing all this incredible, real, unconditional love. That's how we're born. But it gets taught out of us. It's programmed out of us from day one. But the trees haven't forgotten. They don't pay any attention to the beast. They're not listening to the beast. They live outside the beast. And the rocks, they live outside the beast. And the wind. All these other things that are so beautiful and so alive. And if you talk to them, they'll talk to you. And they'll help teach you and guide you how to build a new life, a new world. To get out of the addiction of the beast and everything the beast tries to give you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
That seems so loud. I'm sorry. I kind of jumped.
Whoops. Okay. Sorry about that. We have a couple of comments. Hi, Peter. Hi, Anita. And Peter repeats again or says, confirms that it's an ongoing challenge, but I can change my attention to song at a moment's notice. Yep. And Anita, it's hard to reconcile my truth with my song's truth. That gets easier as you learn more about your song. That is pretty simple, that something that resolves itself. And for anybody else that joined us today, if you have any thoughts, just want to say hi, any questions, we still have a few minutes, so put those in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, go and do that too. Do we have anything else? This was beautiful. One of the things you talk about love reminded me of, it's like our conversation we had a couple of days ago. And this may be a little controversial, but Kay and I have been studying Bitcoin. And one of the saying in the Bitcoin world is that Bitcoin, a functional monetary system, is the base layer of society. And we realized we don't agree with that. Unconditional love is the base layer of a functional society. A functioning monetary system is important, but if we don't have the unconditional love, we're not going to get very far.
Without unconditional love, you're not going to change the monetary system. And that beast developed its corruption through the monetary system. When you're looking at the world of the beast, its baseline is the monetary system. And that monetary system, that fiat system, is corrupt as hell. And it has corrupted everything around it, everything it touches. And that's on purpose. That's on purpose. The beast and whoever is at the top of that social human pyramid, they want the beast to be there, and they want us to be blind and deaf and dumb and not caring and just muddling along. They want us to be slaves. They want to use us to gain more wealth, more money, more power, more social power, political power. If you step out, if we all stepped out of that bubble, it would die of its own weight completely, very fast. It would be gone. If it does not get fed, if a thought form does not get fed, it dies. We have to stop feeding the beast.
You really have to stop engaging it and then build a new life and live the new life. John Lennon said, "We are ruled by psychopaths that are doing psychopathic things for the psychopathic reasons." And the craziest thing is, I can get arrested for saying that. He was a great guy. Hi, Rita. Thanks for saying hi. And Meredith. Meredith, I'm going to flash this real quick across the screen. I love this group, this practice, weaving, Bitcoin, and all of you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Meredith. Any other thoughts?
I'll say something. We create all the time. There's no getting around it. We're creating right now. Thing is when you do and live Katasi, you could do it consciously. And that's what we really need right now. You know, I look sometimes, you can see, like we had forest fires here for a while, and they just weren't sending in people to help. The government wasn't sending in people in really to help put the fire out. And I'm sure the resources were thin, but then the community kicked in, and the community went out and did it. And we're based out of unconditional love. People will and do, in the face of knowing what's actually going on, they'll pick up that unconditional love. I mean, the community just said, well, forget them, let's do it. And they started helping each other. And I know that's what's there. We're made out of that. So we get to choose. We get to choose what we want to create, because we create all the time. So just taking responsibility for that. Am I extending love right now? Am I not? You know what? I mean, as soon as you start doing that, you start really feeling the connection to everyone in the web. So, yeah, we're constantly creating, constantly, just being aware of it. And that's what Katasi teaches us, is to be aware what we're creating, what thought forms we're putting out there. And I found that, like, now I have all that passion and desire to want something more that I never even knew that I could have a hand in creating. Yeah, it's very empowering. We got this. We can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. We got this.
We got this. We do.
Yeah.
We got unconditional love on our side. It's permeating everything, really, right? And like dominoes, once it starts hitting, man, things are going to shift fast.
Fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the ancients say. It'll shift very fast. And the old world can die away very, very fast. We have that power. We're the powerful ones. They aren't. The ones who think they're pulling the strings, they might be pulling the strings of some fiat money, and they think they're really big stuff, but they're just a lot of hot air, and they're going to be gone with the beast.
It's already happening.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, ladies. Peter has a question, but I'm just going to mention it here so we can think about it until next time, because we passed an hour and we should close it out for the day. How do you build a new life? I'm trying to do that now. Let's talk more about that maybe in the next talk,
Mm-hmm.
or make a special talk in between.
We could do that too. Yeah. It's about where our attention is. Where do we put our attention? Those blind beliefs we grew up with, been programmed with, and all the rest of the programming, we can take our attention out of that. Question those beliefs. Question everything. Start looking by feeling with your heart, with your whole body. Feel for the love. Feel for the beauty. Go talk to a tree. If you like the wind, go talk to the wind. The wind is a beautiful, beautiful consciousness, or a whole bunch of different consciousnesses, many different wind spirits, but they're beautiful. And they teach. They teach a lot.
Okay,
And Rita
that's
just
a good
posted.
intro.
Rita just posted another little question too.
Yep.
Hmm?
Where your attention goes, our energy goes, our energy flows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we can't continue going further into this because we'll be here for another hour. But
At
yeah,
least.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You
With our
putting
with our mentorship talks, we've often taken questions like this, and this one exactly sometimes, and gone for hours. Questions and answers. Yeah.
okay, before we leave, I have something. I don't know if this is going to work, but here is if you have questions, if you want to connect with us, you want to talk with us, here's my email. And then there's Laura Keddy's email. And we're both, any question, anything, just send us an email and we go from there. It was beautiful. Thanks for joining us. Always so great to have you here live. And thanks for sharing questions and thoughts. And thank you, ladies. Beautiful. Happy birthday again, Laura.
Thank you.
See you next week. Love you.
Love you all. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.